Welcome back to a Celtic State of Mind. Thank you for joining us on Boxing Day 2023. As a big man from Australia used to say, we never stop. I'm Paul John Dykes. Today I'm joined by Kevin McCluskey and also Jerry Taylor. It's phenomenal to see you guys. Merry Christmas, first and foremost. Hope you had a massive, superb Christmas meal, stuffed your faces, and today you're feeling all a little bit guilty. But the football, hopefully, will make us feel a little bit better today. Kevin McCluskey, how are you, my friend?
Doing good, Paul. Doing very well, aye. Let's just start off with the season's greetings. Happy Christmas to you, Paul. I haven't seen you for a couple of weeks. So, happy Christmas. Hope it was a good one. Jerry, I think the last time I saw you, me and you almost get kicked off a show that we were doing together because there were a few dodgy comments getting thrown around that we were laughing away at. So great to see you again, my man. And I hope you've had a great Christmas. And likewise to all the viewers and subscribers and everyone that supports the channel. Likewise, happy Christmas to everyone and genuinely hope you've had a great time.
100% everybody in the comments section. Please get the comments in. If you haven't already seen the Celtic lineups, then I'm going to read them out in a second. What do you make of the Celtic lineup? It's not a massive surprise. Jerry is lagging a wee bit, so he might come and go, and that's no problem at all. But what we are doing today is we are looking at Celtic versus Dundee. It's at Dens Park. It's the Boxing Day clash. And earlier on, Kevin, I was looking at Brendan Rodgers' record against Dundee. And he has now played 10 games, won 9, drawn 1. Magnificent record. Is it going to continue today?
Well, let's hope so. He's got no choice about that one. It has to continue because our form's been so up and down that we've basically thrown away an 8-point lead over the last month or so. So, that run's got to continue. But if he's got that, there's Rugby Park where he goes there, and that's the bogey ground. It's the sticky one. We seem to come a cropper. Hopefully, Dens Park seems to be that other way around, where we managed to get the results. So it could be the perfect place to go on a day that we need to get the result. And it's quite apt that it is Boxing Day today because I've just been joined in the room by Pirlo the cat, who's decided he wants to chew away at my right arm. So if you see me screaming in a wee minute or two, there's your reason why.
You'll be boxing with Pirlo the cat. We've all had a pet that we've named after a footballer. My cat was called Bobo because he was an absolute menace and he never left you alone. And then he would always go through with the studs up. Jerry Taylor, you're back. And we're going to be talking about the team lineups in a wee second, Jerry, and how we feel about it. I was just saying to Kev there that Brendan Rodgers has got a phenomenal record against Dundee under whatever circumstances, be that cup games, league games, home or away. And there really is a necessity that continues today. There is no margin for error, Jerry. It would appear that we are lagging with you.
Yeah, my thing's going all glitchy and that, so I'll just keep talking. And if it's lagging and that, just cut me off. It's the Gremlins they've been hitting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully keeping this record going. I've said in the group chat, I would always be confident going into these. It's just that the stop-start kind of method that we've applied recently it's not filled me full of hope. But I'm positive because it's Boxing Day, everyone's happy, and I just think we've got a point to prove today because it can't be any more of this stop-start. I said it was going to be like that till January, but I'm hoping it's just, I don't know, keep a bit of faith today and going off the back of the last result, we get a good couple of goals today and don't leak any. I don't want any more nervousness. I don't want another half where we're not creating as many chances. So fingers crossed. I've been put off because all this glitching stuff. So if that sounded a bit dodgy, my statement there, that was me. That wasn't even the glitch.
It sounded absolutely fine. I mean, when you look at the game at Celtic Park, we win 3-0, but it was nothing each at half-time, Kev. It was nothing each at half-time against Dundee. It was one of those games where you're watching us going from side to side, possession, without really having a cutting edge. And I want to run through the three areas of the team, defence, midfield and attack, because I think there's talking points for all three areas. We're going to tell you the lineups, first of all. For anyone who's not yet seen the starting 11, it's Joe Hart in goals, Alistair Johnston, Carter Vickers, Scales, Taylor, McGregor, O'Reilly, Bernardo, Maeda, Palmer and Kyogo. On the bench, it's Bain, Yang, Turnbull, Kwon Forrest, Ralston, Welsh and Mikey Johnston. And for the Docks, Dundee, it's Carson, Kerr, Beck, Shaughnessy, McGee, Bakayoko, Cameron, McCowan, Rodden, Boateng and Donnelly. That's how they will line up. Dundee are having a decent season, Kev. We cannot be complacent today.
No, we can't. I think they're sitting in mid-table, kind of 7th place or something like that. So for them, a side that's just come up, that's a pretty decent season for them.
Good start.
I'm trying to cast my mind back to the first game that we played them, and to be perfectly honest with you, I think it's one of those nondescript games that just doesn't live long in the memory. We, as you say, had loads of possession, passed the ball around side to side, but in the first half, we never looked like scoring, if I remember rightly. And then we got a penalty at the start of the second half. That once we get the goal, it settles everything down, and from there on in, it's kind of easy street. But I mean, that's with the backing of 60,000 fans at home. Away today, again, you need the support to come out and give us that backing from the word go. We cannot afford to lose it. Can't afford to drop any points in this one today.
Nope.
Yeah, I go with what Jerry said. We absolutely need a clean sheet, because we haven't been finishing games at the other end of the park, and we've always looked that wee bit nervous defensively. So we need to have a solid base today that we can build on and actually trust and take us forward. And if we can get a fast start, it's the first goal. If we get that, we'll be fine. But yeah, Dundee are a pretty decent team. They're handy. I think the boy McCowan, I think it is, has been playing more in their number 10 role. I've read some decent things about him. So they've got an attacking threat of their own. So it won't be an easy game. But, I mean, honestly, we'll say it a lot, and I know the performances haven't proven it. But if you look at that team, man for man, better than Dundee by a country mile.
100%.
We should be going up to Dens Park. We shouldn't be having any fear about this game whatsoever, but we do. But we really shouldn't. An early goal kills the nerves, settles us down, and then we take the 3 points from there. But we need that early goal, because otherwise we become a bit passive, and we become, the tempo's not there.
It's a tempo, and I think that it's been hard in the past for us to then get into that kind of groove once we start slow. We've seen it against St Johnstone. Brendan Rodgers gave them a rocket at half time. We've seen it against Hearts. We couldn't get the tempo right. It was slow. It was laborious. And after half an hour, you were looking at that game thinking, we're not going to score in the next hour of this game. And we'd kind of lost a wee bit of faith in the style we play and the tempo that we were playing at. So I do think that Kevin's right, Jerry. We need to really hit this game at a pace and at a tempo from the first minute. I mean, it sounds almost cliched, but Celtic are a side that I just think that if they get into this kind of groove, they can't get out of it. And some of the players that are missing, I get it. Hatate, I want to talk about him. And what we are missing from peak Hatate is, being able to make things happen quickly, being able to have that incisive pass, take chances, lose the ball. But in doing so, Jerry, taking chances, and when it does come off, you're cutting through the defence and you're creating goal-scoring opportunities. We've missed him massively this season, haven't we?
Oh, hugely. And see, when you look back to pre-season and the beginning of the season when we were questioning him, you're like, how stupid are we, by the way? Because we have missed him a lot. And do you know what, Kev? I think what's needed, see, when we're going against these low blocks, right? But we are struggling with them. That's why I think we played better in Europe at times. But we need some delicious football today, big man. That's how we're going to unlock it. We're going to need that. We're going to need the fast passing. We're going to need just something special to unlock that defence early, and then to really put the pressure on. Because, like you say, when we get that first goal, don't worry, Jigs. If we get that first goal early, it's usually a good sign we're going to win the game. But when we hit that 30-minute mark, 35 minutes, I've been starting to feel myself getting more and more nervy. It's been, let's be honest, it's been a tough watch the start of this season, especially the past couple of months, with just the blueprint of every match pretty much the same, not being able to break these teams down. But look, you always kind of see Boxing Day as like an exciting day, a fresh start. Let's go for it. So I'm hoping for bigger things today. And here, Big Quan's on the bench. Remember, he was my shout for one to watch this season. So, but who knows?
That's the second game in a row.
Turnbull.
Yeah, he's a second game in a row. He's been on the bench.
I was in Panto, right? So luckily, I missed the Hearts game because I was on stage at the time, getting custard pies put in my face. And I tell you what, it was much more fun than what you guys had to endure, because I've not even watched the game back. I've not even asked many questions about it because I saw enough online. So yeah, we need to definitely get that all out of our system and just play the way we know we can play today. No fear, like Kev says, man to man. We should, with all due respect, we should batter them. Yeah. Whether we will or not, let's see.
Absolutely agree with that. Bizarrely enough, because it is silly season, they do say that. We've got Rangers fans on the comment section, so if you're popping up to try and wind Celtic fans up, you will be pinged right out of the chat room. But I mean, on Boxing Day, no less, the obsession is
spend it with
real.
your families, then spend it with us.
Oh yeah, then spend it with your family. Exactly.
See, while they're on, I want to ask them a question, and then I'm being serious about it. Like, we've only had a couple of losses, right? We've pretty much won everything over the past 10 years. How do you guys cope with like 9 years of that? Like, fair play to you. I mean, we've had a wee taste of it. Obviously, we won't again for much longer, but I don't know how you did it. Congratulations.
It's 23 trophies domestically out of 33 Celtic have now won. So, yeah, you get a little bit of a tickle and you think, oh, Boxing Day, let's go and try and wind up Celtic fans. It is obsession. Remember the old Obsession adverts? That's what always comes to my mind when they ping into the comment section. Paddy Lavery, hope everyone had a joyful Christmas Day now. Onto the serious stuff. Hail, hail. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. And everybody else who's in the comment section, thanks for joining us today. Durban Culture, we really need Maida back in to his best today. I agree with that. When you look at that Celtic lineup, Kevin, barring Hatate and Abada, that is the strongest we've got from the squad to field today. So I'm going back to your point that you said there. We have got enough on paper to win this comfortably, but that's not how you win football games. We've seen players playing out of form. We've seen them struggling maybe to adapt to the new gaffer's way of playing. And also another worry for me has been the lack of impact from the bench. And I'm looking at that bench with Quan, etc. And no disrespect to him, I would have much rather we started to bleed players in when we were playing free-flowing football, when there's a momentum and a confidence. When I'm looking at that bench, I want every single player on that bench, if called upon, to make a difference. So things like that do worry me a wee bit, Kev, to be fair. But I'm still talking about the Hatate position since he's been injured. You know, Bernardo, who starts today, has had game time, as has Home, Turnbull and Iwata. But I don't think Rodgers has settled on his ideal replacement. But Bernardo seems to be a favourite of Rodgers. What do you make of him? Because I've not quite figured out Bernardo. I watch him and I see a lot of the stuff he does off the ball being very, very helpful to McGregor and O'Reilly defensively. Apparently, the majority of his passes go backwards. Going to be looking out for that today. So that screams out to me defensive midfielder. And I'm not sure we need that when we're playing Livingston or Dundee. What's your take, Kev?
Yeah, I've not made my mind up on him either. I was really impressed with the first time we really got to see him was against Atletico Madrid, and I was hugely impressed with him in that game because he kind of come in from the cold, came on for Hatate, was it not, after just 5 minutes, and he was excellent. He was everywhere. He was covering every blade of grass and that kind of attacking third for us, really, but blocking off all the passing lanes. And I thought, he's a good player. You know, there's something in there. But the more I've seen him, especially in the domestic games, I think we don't need him, because in the big games and in Europe, which is where he's played most, we're under more pressure than we are domestically, and his work rate can be brilliant for us in the midfield. Just as you said, blocking the lane, stopping the passes, forcing opposition back. Domestically, we need to be more on the front foot and going forward. McGregor can play a good sideways pass. So can O'Reilly when he's got it. Iwata does it. We don't need another one that plays mainly sideways passes or back passes, and that's what Bernardo does, and that's why we probably haven't seen him as much domestically because he doesn't suit the game here, which puts a question mark over why we've brought him in the first place. Because he's only going to make an impact in 6, maybe 8 games in a season.
Yep.
So I'm on the fence with him, but I can see why we'd be giving him minutes now when we've got the Rangers game coming up next, because that would be a game that will suit him, because that's as close as we'll get to a European type game in the domestic game. So I can see why he's playing him, but he's coming in to fill that Hatate jersey. Now, when Hatate's back and he's fully fit, there's only one man I want in that jersey, and it's not Bernardo. So would you spend the £6 or £7 million that's been quoted for him in the summer to bring him in like we did with Jota? For me, it's a no. So you'd be as well in January cutting him loose. Thanks very much. Go out in style with a big performance against Rangers on the 30th, cut him loose, and then bring somebody like Holm or Iwata and develop those guys and give them the games, because I think they're more our future than Bernardo is.
There are players. And the thing with Odin Holm and Tomoki Iwata is I think they've got brilliant defensive qualities, but we've also seen offensively that they're able to link up that play. They're able to, Iwata scoring that goal against Hearts was a good reminder of the fact that, going forward, he is quite comfortable. David Turnbull is almost a forgotten man. Jerry, we talk about that first game against Dundee this season. Turnbull scores the opening goal that day. Even to this day, when you're looking at the minutes that he's played, the goal contributions that he's been involved in, most fans of a Scottish football club would love to have a player like David Turnbull in their squad. Yet, he's struggling to keep out a kid from Benfica reserves who's not even our player. It's a massive concern, and it doesn't bode well going into January. By the way, I think Kev makes a great point there. We're playing the team as close to possible as the team that will line up against Rangers. So I get why Bernardo's playing. I absolutely get that, because you need somebody to nullify any kind of threat that Rangers are going to have. There's no doubt about it. So I totally get it, Kev. It's a great point. But it does concern me about David Turnbull. I've got to be honest, Jerry.
Yeah, we've been having this conversation for a long time now, haven't we? It was on your list of 10 to go at the start of the season, and then
so with skills.
Aye, exactly.
I take it back.
Aye. So I think you put me off there. What was that saying? Aye. Bernardo, I think great point that Kev's making as well, like you said, putting him in obviously before the Rangers game. With Bernardo, I think that he'll go away again. When it comes to all these midfielders, the fact is that we can't even choose like who we like the best means that I don't think any of them are good enough to do it in the long run for Celtic. David Turnbull, getting back to who you were talking about originally, he frustrates me a lot because he does have that potential, but at times he just doesn't do it. And like you said, any other club in the SPL would bite your hand off for them, and maybe a lot of the clubs in the Championship don't think he's Premier League standard. So I think he needs to move on to further his career. It's going to be stop-start all the time. If you've got a great player in your team, you're never questioning them like this. We're never questioning Matt O'Reilly like this. We're never questioning Callum McGregor will dip in form at times, but we're never that as frustrated. The sign of great players, you don't question them like this, and we're doing that with 4 out of 4 of our central midfielders. Mm-hmm. It's just, if we're having to talk about them that much, it answers the question. We need to get rid of a lot of them and bring in who Brendan wants in January. I genuinely think we're going to see one of the biggest clear-outs we've seen in the history of a January transfer window. I believe that. I've heard a few rumours. I'm not saying who from, but I have heard some rumours that there's going to be a massive clear-out, and also that priority is a striker in January.
Never reveal your source. Never reveal your source, Jerry. Rule number 1.
Well, it's the same source that told me Fran Alonso was staying put, but we'll see.
Oh, farewell, Fran, by the way. Farewell, Fran. I think we'll talk in more depth about that during the week. Definitely, because he deserves a bit of chat, does Fran Alonso. I thought he'd done a brilliant job. But no, you're spot on with that. And we're going to have the same kind of debate about the defence and the forward line before we go to kick off. But in relation to what you were saying about the midfielders, I think he's shown enough, one for the future, happy with him as a development player. Absolutely see why we bought him. Iwata and Turnbull, I think the gaffers come in and doesn't particularly rate either of the two of them, but the two of them have approached it in a different way. So Turnbull's got the petted lip, toys at the pram, that kind of thing, giving it all that when he scores a goal. Whereas Iwata is completely low maintenance whenever he's asked to play, comes in and he makes an impact. So I think you've got two kind of sides of a coin there with regards to the way that, and what will probably happen is come February, only one of the guys will be a Celtic player, and it'll be the one who's got less ability. And it'll probably be Iwata, who I think's a decent enough player.
I think he's becoming a bit. Sorry for interrupting. I think Iwata's becoming a bit one of those cult figures at Celtic because to me, I don't see anything he's ever done wrong, and I want to see him get a real run. And any time he comes in, I don't know.
Well. He does well.
Aye.
He does. But yeah, there you go. I think Turnbull, time's up for the boy. Listen, we might be calling on him at half time. How often have we done that? Bring Turnbull on to get a goal. I want to talk about defence. Very interesting conversation. Before I do that, by the way, just to show that, see, when people come in here and they're absolutely like balanced and they want to have a chat about football and they don't actually support Celtic, I'm all for it, right? A good example of that is Niall Fraser, who comes in here, Dundee fan, almost 60-year-old in Hong Kong, loves Celtic, but not as much as the D, obviously, the truth. Hope we get a point. Well, good luck, but I hope you don't, Niall, but thanks for joining us anyway, mate. I mean, we do get people, I've seen Dundee United fans, Hibs fans coming in, and they want a bit of chat about the football. Absolutely all for it. If you're coming in on Boxing Day and you're a Rangers fan, seriously, go and have a look at your life. RL77.
I don't even know if they're playing today. Just shows
I like
you
that attitude. I like that attitude, Jerry. You don't even know because you don't care. You don't care. It's all about Celtic. Exactly. The team has some obvious weak points, but that bench is far from inspiring. I do agree with that. There are a few players, rather, who you think if it's not going our way, Kev, you can call upon. Gives you that physicality up top, gives you a different dynamic to Kyogo. You could even play the two of them on the same pitch. Heaven forbid. And you've got Turnbull. You know what Turnbull does. You bring him on, he can score a goal at nothing, 25 yards out, can hit a free kick. You get all that kind of stuff. Yang, I think Yang's a tricky player. I don't think he's there yet. He's one, for me, he's one with bags of potential. But can he change a game? We've seen him doing it. In recent weeks. He came on as a substitute. He done really, really well. Kind of turned the game on its head. Was that St Mirren at Celtic Park? We were watching the game, Celtic Park, and he came on. He's done really, really well.
It was, aye.
Aberdeen at Pittodrie earlier on in the season came on, set up the third goal that really put us on easy feet. So he's got it. The other two, of course, would be Forrest and Johnston, and we could debate their merits all day long. I want to talk about this defence for a second here, and I posed the question to the Acsom troops. I said, right, after Scales, he scored that second goal against Livingston, right? It was the only thing really missing from his season this season. Liam Scales has played, I think from memory, 23 to 26 games, I think I said, Kev. 23 to 26 games for Celtic this season. He's broken into the Ireland international setup, and not just as a fringe player. He's broken in and made a really decent impact with the Ireland international side, and hopefully that continues with the new gaffer once Stephen Kenny is replaced. He's gone from being in the Aberdeen team beaten by Darvel in one of the biggest Scottish footballs, if not the biggest Scottish football upset of all time, to winning man of the match against Feyenoord in the Champions League. The resurgence has been Ralston-esque, and I regret putting him on the 10 players I would get rid of at the beginning of the season. But I posed the question, Kev McCluskey, I'll come to you first. If Nawrocki had come in, played 23 to 26 games for Celtic, scored against Livy, man of the match against Feyenoord, broke into the international team, would we be saying value for money?
First off on that one, maybe Liam Scales read the blog and that gave him the motivation for the season.
Aye, that's why we did it.
And that's why he's having the campaign he's having. And maybe he needs to show it to David Turnbull as well, so that he can,
true, but David Turnbull would just give me the fingers when he's treatment.
Aye, probably.
No less.
Probably.
I'm drinking a Grinch mug, in case you're wondering, it's the Grinch.
Love it. Keeping it festive.
Oh, the Seuss, absolutely. Yeah, so I posed that. I think it's a good debate to have, right? Because then people say, so you telling me Liam Scales is a £4.3 million footballer? That's not really what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you, if the big fella who was signed from Legia Warsaw came in and was putting in that kind of performance and had that impact, we wouldn't be grumbling about his transfer fee.
You would not. No. So I'm on the opinion of, as well, at the start of the season, and I've said it before, if anyone had offered us $500,000 for Scales, I would have said cheerio, and I wouldn't have batted an eyelid. And then let's say that happens, and Nawrocki comes in, like you say, £4.5 million, and has the season that Scales is having. I think that is money well spent, because I think he comes in and he's almost, and I'm sure Alan Morrison has either put this out in the public domain or certainly shared it within the Acsom chat group, that Scales' stats for the season are pretty much on a par with Callum Starfelt. So he has stepped up to be Starfelt's like-for-like replacement, and that's what we wanted from Nawrocki. So if we spent £4.5 million to replace Starfelt and it worked, you'd be pretty happy. So, if we were signing Scales for £4.5 million, or the player that comes in to replace Starfelt for £4.5 million, and you've got that replacement, and he's a good player, you're happy. Do I rate, or would I value Scales at £4.5 million? Probably not, because I was happy to let him go for £500,000 in the summer. And has he jumped up to being worth £4.5 million by now? No. Is anybody else going to pay £4.5 million for Liam Scales? No, because they'll look at his background and go, he came for Shamrock Rovers, he's only had 6 months in the Celtic team and so on. But you get a couple of million for him now. And if he keeps on in this trajectory, you never know. Like, he might become a £4.5 million player. Aberdeen managed to get £4 million for Scott McKenna. So, nothing's impossible. But he's absolutely been a top player for us this season.
Some team in Argentina managed to get 3.75 for Alexandro Bernabé.
Exactly. So there you go. If that's your barometer, then high Scales is worth $5 million.
Listen, valuations you could debate all day. It all comes down to how desperate a team is to sell, how desperate a team is to buy. But the point remains, Jerry, he's done so well, has Big Scalesy. And I think that the left-hand side of the defence is the weak area, in actual fact, contrary to everything we've just said there. It is a weak area, and it's no help by the defensive performances we've been getting from Greg Taylor on a regular basis. But I've got to say, against Livingston, Greg Taylor, for me, and it wasn't a defensive performance by him, by the way, I thought he had a very good game, but mainly offensively. I thought he was very good. He was linking up play really well. He thinks he's a bit of a midfielder. He does have that habit, blocking the lanes that Kev was talking about earlier on. He does that for us rather than for the opposition. Bernardo's good at doing it for the opposition. But no, I do think credit where credit's due. We've seen a different approach. We've seen him overlapping Palmer constantly, and Palmer was playing him through on the overlap. Taylor was pinging the ball in low and hard, as we know. Kilger likes it that way. And Palmer himself, even Palmer, I know what you're thinking, Jerry. Come on. Yeah, that's filth. Palmer was hitting the byline himself, getting the ball across, even though it's clear that he is far more comfortable cutting inside, pinging the ball and dinking it into the ball. So I just wanted to say that Taylor has had a lot of stick this season on the Acsom channel, and I thought he played really well against Livy.
Yeah, you've got to give credit when it's due. It has been frustrating throughout the season, but he's also given us so much in the seasons before that as well. What I've not liked seeing coming into his game, I don't know if you've noticed, the whole blame game. He seems to be kind of giving pelters to other players a lot of the time. It's really getting to me, and it's thinking, right, I kind of do that. See, when you're annoyed at yourself, sometimes you kind of maybe lash out at others. But
even when nobody else is in the room, Jerry.
Aye, mate, aye.
Somebody's fault.
You know me well, mate. You know me well. So he's, like you said on a couple of shows ago when I was watching, Taylor's basically our Anthony Ralston, isn't he? He's there. He'd be a great backup to come on. You would be happy knowing that he was there to come on for someone, but we do need a left back in. But that's not taken away from anything that he's done for the club. And I know people go into the comments and say it's unfair and stuff, but I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying if we want to move forward, we've got to replace him. We have to. It'll be a great backup, and he seems a good guy, and you can never fault him for effort. He's breathing out his backside from minute 1 until the 90th minute. He never stops. So just makes a lot of mistakes.
Jerry, I
he's
know
not the worst Taylor to have played for Celtic this season, is he, Jerry?
Oh,
listen, Listen, I will tell you something. Next season, just watch me fly. Watch me fly. I think you should play me up front next time. Just
well,
for a
we're
laugh.
going to do another game. We're definitely going to have another game, 100%. But I was going to say,
Yes,
was that a wee pooch that made a guest appearance
Anytime,
there?
buddy.
Kev?
Right, let me tell you
Is that
this
a Christmas
quickly. So
present?
this is this is the Mrs. dog, Miley. Come here. Right, so I'll quickly tell you. So on Christmas Eve, say hello, Miley. And she's a big Hoops fan. On Christmas Eve, she ran away. Right, she ran away on Christmas Eve. So Megan's wee one was devastated. So we got wee Wido to phone and pretend to be Santa and told the wee one that the dog was away helping Rudolph to deliver help him deliver all the presents attached to the sleigh and all that. So she was delighted. So that saved us. Wee Wido saved us. And Christmas was fine, but then still no sign of the dog. And I'm thinking, we've told her Santa's got the dog. Now she's going to hate Santa because the dog's not come back. But last night, the police arrived with the dog. A wee Christmas miracle. So
phenomenal.
This is Miley, everyone.
By the way, you've reminded me, big shout out to wee Wido and yourself for the Acsom Christmas message. That was very well received, Jerry. And you've set a tradition up now. We've got to do it every year, the Acsom Christmas message every single year. So thank you very much for all your hard working efforts and doing that as well. Listen, we'd better go to the action. Dundee versus Celtic. Let's hope that at halftime we're talking about a decent first half performance. Thank you, every single one of you in the comment section. Pour yourself a sherry, enjoy the first half, and we'll see you at halftime. Thanks to Kevin McCluskey and Miley. I'm Jerry Taylor for joining me on a Celtic Stater Night.